Now let's cross over to Parliament, where Stephen Leto is standing by. Stephen Leto, good morning. We understand that Parliament resumes sessions at 2:30, the third session of the 12th Parliament. We've been speaking to the Speaker of the Senate, but what is the National Assembly gearing towards as they resume duty this afternoon?
Good morning, Sam. Indeed, the bicameral parliament resumes its sittings this afternoon, 2:30 to be precise, from a long recess that is during the Christmas period. And a lot is expected, of course, members of parliament coming in to finding a full in-tray, both in the National Assembly and in the Senate. Several issues expected to be tackled. Remember, the first business literally is about money. That is about, kicking off the budget cycle in terms of the presentation of the budget policy statement from the Treasury, and of course the entire process of committees, a various departmental committee meeting with various ministries and various departments over the budget making process ahead of the 2019-2020 financial year. But of course, back inside the Parliament, I have Minority Leader in the National Assembly, John Mbadi, just to tell us what does Parliament's calendar looks like in the third session of the National Assembly. Karibu sana, Minority Leader John Mbadi. Tell us, how does the in-tray of the National Assembly in particular looks like?
Really full. I just want to maybe put it that, the budget cycle began in September with the budget review outlook paper, but it's kicking off very strongly now with the introduction of budget policy statement, which is supposed to be in the National Assembly latest 15th of this month. And we all know that in the beginning of the year is very crowded. So apart from looking at the budget policy paper, which is spelling out the expected or estimated revenue and expenditure for the 2019-2020, together with analysis of the same, there is also the supplementary budget too, which is likely to come. The Jubilee administration has brought a new concept in this country where we every year deal with more than one supplementary budget, and there is possibility that we will have a supplementary budget too soon, possibly this month. So that is going to really take up the time of parliaments, the parliamentary committees, because the budget policy statement has to be disintegrated to various departmental committees to engage with their ministries, departments and agencies, and also to have the supplementary budget also disintegrated, disaggregated to also the various departmental committees. Now, having dealt with those two critical budget documents, we will now be expecting the budget estimate to be brought latest 30th of April. So it is a very crowded beginning of the year for money matters or money issues. But aside from that, there are other issues that are coming up. One of them is, remember, the President made a pronouncement during the conference on anti-corruption and said that there are some legislations that need to be introduced coming from the Attorney General's office, which Parliament will help enact. And as parliamentarians, we have committed ourselves and pronounced ourselves variously that we will support the government initiative and agenda to fight corruption. So this is a time again that we will be devoting significant amount of time to deal with those legislations that are coming from the Attorney General's office to address the issues of corruption. More particularly, the issue that was singled out was how do we remove the public servants and the state officers from doing business with the government to avoid conflict of interest. The other thing that I think is also going to take Parliament's time is thinking through how to reform our ABC. Is it something that we are going to wait for the Building Bridges initiative to address, or are we going to have some temporary measure? Because remember, this body is supposed to conduct a very important exercise of census shortly, in August 24th, running all the way, I think, to 26th. That is something that needs to be addressed because as currently constituted, IBC is limping. And so it is high time that we dealt with it as a country, and Parliament will be called upon to deal with it. There are various pieces of legislation that are in our entry. We have the petroleum bill, which I think is very critical because for us to make progress in terms of oil exploration and oil harvesting, we have to have that bill in place to avoid possible conflict with the community around the community and also with the national government. We have the Land Index Act, which I think is also very critical, that needs to be addressed. There is there's a irrigation bill that needs to be addressed, and many other, a host of quite a number of legislations that are going to come to Parliament. We also have a number of reports from the Auditor General's office, and as the minority side, which chairs the Public Accounts Committee and Public Investment Committee, we also expect more reports to come. I am aware that just before we went on recess, Opio and I, on behalf of Public Accounts Committee, had tabled reports which we are going to deal with. And we wanted to also cure this problem that we have been facing over the years, that we deal with historical data in dividing revenue, that we want audited accounts to be updated in terms of debate in the House, to be adopted, so that the figures, we use current figures in dividing revenue vertically between the national government and county governments. There has been this cry that we are starving counties of funds because Parliament is not able to live up to be up to speed with approving financial statements. I think we are going to cure that, and we had agreed on some kind of a timetable with the Public Accounts Committee, which appeared before the House Business Committee, and I can see, looking at it, I see that committee has been so committed in trying to be up to date and to beat the deadline.
Thank you. Looks like it's going to be a very busy session of Parliament.
Oh, certainly, yes. It is usually a very busy period in the Parliament's calendar, the beginning of the year, because that is a time that we deal with the money issues, the budgetary issues, but also it is also a time that comes after a long recess, 2 months. Obviously, there are so many national issues that come during that period of time.
Fair enough.
Yes.
Thank you. That is Minority Leader in the National Assembly, John Mbadi, just trying to give us a sneak preview of what we expect in the third session of the 12th Parliament. And remember, a showdown is looming between a member of Gatundu South, Moses Kuria, and Majority Leader of the National Assembly, Aden Duale. Reason being, there is an alleged plot to kick out Moses Kuria from 2 parliamentary committees, the Committee on Budget and the Committee on Transport. And he says, bring it on. It is something we are following closely today and see how things happen. And of course, remember 2:30, Sam, the House Business Committee will be constituted that will be scheduling how the House is going to be run going forward. And so for now, Sam, it's back to you. We'll get back to you, of course, as and when things develop. But security has been heightened in and outside Parliament presence just to ensure that members of Parliament are safe as they transact their legislative work right in the National Assembly and in the Senate. And so for now, Sam, it's back to you in studio.